Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, what happened with Bitcoin today? Well, Bitcoin adoption continues, and let me tell you why it's happening and what happened today exactly. And also, Gamestop continues on and ignites Solana in a big way, and all the meme coins that relate to this whole movement. Okay, so let's talk about this as well and everything else that's going on in the world today. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin is about the same place it was yesterday, 61.7. Still moving kind of sideways. What did we get today? Well, this morning we got Fed Chair Powell talking about inflation once again. And he's saying, well, inflation is now higher than expected, and he expects to hold rates steady. The notion of rate hike off the table still, but I think this means that, hey, maybe instead of cutting in June, maybe it'll be July or something like that. And the number of cuts didn't decrease. It's still 3 as far as I know. He didn't say it was going to be decreased to 2 or 1. But we got some inflation reading today. It was higher than expected. Tomorrow we will get another one, CPI. It's probably going to be higher than expected. So overall, this wasn't good news. But the U.S. market was still okay. Still led by GameStop and AMC. They're up like 40 or 50% today. That's what anyone talked about. And I'll get to a little more of that in a bit. But this is kind of interesting and not so good overall. U.S. personal savings rate is now down to 3.2%. Okay. Prior, for the most part, throughout 2007 all the way to 2020, it was hovering around 5-6%. And then things got screwed up when all these stimulus checks were given out, and then you could see it went up to like 32% at one time because people were just getting free money. And then it dropped down to 2.7, went up to 5.3%, and now down to 3.2%. That's not good. You don't want to see it go downwards. And why is that? Well, the economy is not doing as well as before. More layoffs, less jobs. Inflation is causing things to be more expensive, right? So this is no good. This is what Fed Chair Powell is thinking about. And also really thinking about this, bank failures. There are people that are predicting there will be a lot more bank failures this year. And that's no good. That's no good. All these things are what keeps Fed Chair Powell awake at night, right? Like on one hand, he needs to cut rates because we're just too, as a nation, we're too stagnant now. People are not spending. Things are slowing down. So he needs to cut rates to kind of jolt things. But on the other hand, inflation is going upwards, and cutting rates will only make that worse. So what is he supposed to do? I don't know. I really don't know. All you could say is, well, we need to hold rates for longer. That's it. That's what he said today. But we'll see what happens next month and the month after that and after that. And what if some banks start failing, right? Imagine that. But this is the reason why Bitcoin adoption continues. Today, you have Wisconsin Investment Board announces $162 million investment in spot Bitcoin ETFs. We've been hearing more and more and more companies and now pension funds buying Bitcoin. 162 million, that's not chump change. That actually sounds like a whole lot. 100 plus million, that is insane, right? And they're not alone. We're hearing about private companies, public companies, of course, MicroStrategy, ETFs, they're all taking in Bitcoin. They're buying Bitcoin. And Bitcoin's price versus addresses with $1,000 has 100% correlation. That's interesting. This is something new, right? So we always see addresses, the number of addresses go up, but the number of addresses over 1,000 continues to go up, and that's good. You know why? Because Bitcoin's price always follows. And it is definitely going upward. So there are a lot of people buying. Even retail investors, yes, retail investors could buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. I don't know, maybe in this state of economy, maybe not. But that is a positive thing as we're moving higher. This is why Bitcoin adoption continues, because we got so much going on in the macro and geopolitical. I mean, there are just so many things going on that are not good, And the best way to hedge against not good is with Bitcoin. Now, a few other things about Bitcoin, okay? Last few things. Head and shoulders pattern. Looks like we're doing an inverse head and shoulders pattern. If we could break through this, obviously, we're heading back up to the 70K level. We're still kind of steady. Macro environment is still kind of holding Bitcoin back, and we still do have this one seller that was randomly selling yesterday on Coinbase. I covered that this morning. Don't know who it is. Hopefully he's out of Bitcoin to sell. We haven't seen any of those nasty down wicks so far since last night. But you know what? We know Bitcoin is going to go a lot higher. We will have some volatility, but the adoption, the buying, the DCing will continue forward as we head later into the later half of this year, right? We're not halfway there yet, but soon we will. Soon we will. And remember, before the downtrend started in April to now, we had 7 consecutive green months. And even though we're in a somewhat of a down cycle, keep in mind, we're still at 61,000 in the 60,000 level, when just in fact, in February, which was only 3 months ago, Bitcoin touched $30,000. Think about that. We have come a long way. This is no time to be scared. All right. So I wanted to start out with that. And of course, let's talk about what happened with GME and AMC today. Their stocks went up, skyrocketed as predicted. And circuit breakers turned on 34 times today, okay? This is to protect the hedge funds and to protect the short sellers. I've always said no one needs to shed a tear for short sellers. If they risk shorting something, borrowing stock to sell, okay, it's on them. And I just don't like the stigma of shorting. If you don't like something, to sell it, but not only do you sell it, but you short it, I just hate that. It's bad karma, okay? And those short sellers are feeling it. In fact, they lost $5 billion in 2 days. And if this continues, it's going to drive a lot of hedge funds out of business, like Melvin Capital. They were saved due to another injection from another fund, I forgot. But they were going to go under. And if this continues, I'm just curious. I don't have it open, but where is GME at? Okay, so they're not going crazy in the aftermarket right now. They were up 60% today, up about 5% in after hours. So it seems like they have calmed down a little bit, but $5 billion worth of shorts liquidated in 2 days. That is awesome. And of course, the crypto equivalent of the stocks have been going upwards like crazy. Gamestop Memecoin surpassed 100 million in market cap, got listed on BitGet today, and currently it's at $134 million. It's up about 100%. Yesterday was about 60 million. Today it's 134 million. And that chart looks pretty good. That chart looks pretty good. AMC also, I've covered AMC, has a meme. It's about 25 million. That's not too bad. Up 183% in the last 24 hours. That's not too bad. And also BlackBerry, speculative play, about 2.36 million. Okay. Okay, not as good as GME though. I'd say GME is still the strongest one of the three. But I'm curious to see how high this could go. Can it go to $1 billion? I mean, we have seen memes out of nowhere hit $1 billion for no apparent reason. If this GameStop movement continues, who knows? Who knows if if these memes will continue forward, right? We're just speculating at this point. But what it is doing for sure is causing Solana to heat up. So if you look at this, is the first time ever where Solana generated more economic value than Ethereum. And what's more impressive about this number is Solana is like 1,000 times cheaper than Ethereum. So for it to generate more fees, okay, than Ethereum, takes like 100 times more volume to do so. Not just like it barely surpassed it. I mean, the volume has to be astronomical to be able to do this. It's insane if you think about it. And it's all due to the memes. Not all, but vast majority. Okay, over 852,000 active addresses interacted with Solana's ecosystem today. And new wallets, 112,000. That's a whole lot. FYI, 20,000 plus tokens are created on Solana every day. That sounds like too much. 20,000 plus. That's an insane amount of tokens being added per day. And you know what? Coinbase loves Solana. So Coinbase is going to list Drift Protocol, which is a perpetual DEX on Solana, where you could trade 20x leverage. I had no idea that this project exists, but they are now going to be on Coinbase. So even Coinbase effect is helping Solana. So right now, Solana is looking like it's firing on all cylinders, even though the price didn't really move for Sol today. But you could see the network activity. You can say this is part of the fundamentals for Solana. It is definitely going up in the right direction, right? And same with the memes. All right. That's it. Let's do some Q&A. Clash says the altcoin season will 100% be dominated by Sol. I do agree with that. I think Sol and Sol-based tokens and projects, they will all do very well in this cycle. Man, I'm randomly pulling up Clash's YouTube channel here. It's all about finding silver and gold. It's actually very interesting. You get a lot of views, man. Congrats. Get Roaring Kitty on stream. I'll pay for it. I'm pretty sure it's going to cost a pretty penny to get him on stream, okay? We may have to, like, I don't know. I don't know what's going to take. He's probably pretty rich already, so I don't know if that's going to happen. I can ask. I could definitely ask for sure. Are you into horse racing? You know what? I never got into horse racing. I feel like it's one of those, like, I don't know. It's just, you know, it's not often you could go bet on horses, I guess, right? It's just not something that I ever got into, but maybe someday. Are they going to rig the CPI to show lower number and pump the market? You know what? That may happen tomorrow. Okay, we got some bad reading today, but tomorrow, for the first time ever, they're going to exclude coffee. I don't know if they plan on excluding others, but coffee shows horrible inflation right now. So I think that's part of the rigging process, to slowly exclude things to make it look like we're coming down. I don't know. Nick is asking me, what do you think about Chuck? You know what? I was actually pulling it up, looking at it. I'm glad to see that it found the bottom and it started coming back up. So it's around 12 million, but it really bottomed out here, and this was scary. But now it seems like they're, the Dirty Degens, they're much closer with the team. They believe in this project. And you know what? It seems like the community does too. And they recovered quite well today. So good for them. Do you think SBF still enjoys eating cucumbers? Space Vibe says silver is mega rigged. I don't know. I don't follow silver or gold, so excluding things from CPI is a good way to end up back in a worse problem. Yeah, we may end up doing this, guys. We may end up no. No, what was I gonna show? This? If things get really bad, you know what's going to happen? We're going to get some more stimulus checks printed and sent out. You can't even deny a stimulus check. When they send it to you, it's just like, it's automatic. And most people think, oh, it's free money. It's great. Let's just take our free money. They don't realize stimulus checks cost trillions of dollars. That's why our national debt went up so much, and it causes massive inflation. And you go pay more through inflation than you're getting from the check. Yeah, it's just no good. So if it's bad, if the economy slows down too much, and rate cuts are not going to help, what they're going to have to end up do is issue more stimulus check, which I hope never, ever, ever happens again. Shane says, and then they claw it back in tax. I totally forgot. Yeah, those stimulus checks were taxable too. They weren't just free money. They actually do tax it. Why do countries pay debt when they print their own money? That's a good question. You know why? Because they can't just endlessly print, at least borrow. I think you're saying borrow money. Why do countries borrow money when they could print their own money? Because at least borrowing is like a stopgap to printing more money. So it's like a mid thing that they could do. Right? Because borrowing, of course, you get a immediate injection, and you just worry about paying the interest, right? That's over a course of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, depending on the treasury note or bond. So that, it gives us time, right? But when we can't issue enough bonds and notes to sell, or no one's buying, then we have no choice but to print more money. That's how I interpret it. I might be wrong on that, but that's how I interpret things. Roaring Kitty's no longer a poor. He made $35 million from the first go around. That's a pretty healthy paycheck. But he went through a lot of scrutiny. He got sued by the SEC. He went through a lot. He earned that. I wish he would support crypto, though. I guess supporting crypto doesn't really give a FU to the hedge funds, but I wish he would support the crypto. Getting maybe not all the way, but a little bit into the space. That would be nice. Because crypto is basically a big FU to everyone. All the financial guys, the industry, everyone. Have you ever thought track racing your Sport exotic cars. I've done it once. A low. It's like a low track event, not a real one. We were following the instructor, but we still had a pretty good time. It was a small track. I would love to do more of it. I just don't really have any big courses, long courses around me to do so. Do you see Tesla above $200 share? You know, every single news I see about Tesla is so negative. So I don't know what to think. I just heard the head of Cybertruck manufacturing quit randomly. I saw something about how 2% of people that try FSD actually buy it. That's bad. Today I got a text saying, hey, there's a special Model Y, $2,000 off. You get $7,500 federal tax credit, and it's only 0.99% APR to finance it. Seems like they're trying to give away Model Ys at this point. So everything I'm hearing about Tesla is negative. I'm not hearing anything positive about Tesla. So I don't know. I don't know if just people like to like kick Tesla while it's down, but like everything I'm hearing about Tesla is negative. I'm hearing morale at Tesla is also down. I mean, like everything I'm hearing is bad. I haven't heard any good things recently. Harambe on Sol looks like it's breaking out. Is it a meme? I'm assuming it's a meme. I don't even know if I said that right. This one from 3 months ago. Yeah, it formed an all-time high today. Don't quite know why. It's 44 million though, you know? It's like liquidity seems a little bit low at 1.5. Doesn't show it's locked either. So I don't know about the lock if this is locked liquidity, but it's 44 million, man. Like, you know, do I really want to risk putting something into 44 or 45 million now? The chance of it going down is so much higher than, say, doubling at this point, right? Eddie G says Cybertrucks are reselling for 80 to 100K overpriced. No, that is not true. Because I've searched. In the nation, I searched. And I sorted. You could buy a Cybertruck. The lowest one over is 130. So basically 30 over. And no one's buying it. And there's plenty of them selling for 150. No one's buying them. So that is not true. Pretty soon they're going to be sold at below MSRP. Slothana. Ooh, 90 million. It's done good. It's done good since May 8th, which was only a week ago. It has done crazy good. But this is starting to be a little concerning. It seems like it has topped out and now maybe slow bleeding downwards. Again, is it worth the risk to get into something that's 90 million market cap already when the chance of it going down is a lot more than, say, it doubling from here? I don't know. Like, if I want to get into a meme, I want to see a 10x potential, right? Do I see this doing 10x? No. Can it go to 300, 400? Yes. But is it more likely it'll fall back down to 20 or 30? Yes. Doug Fresh, can Tesla possibly have the highest market cap in the next few years in NVIDIA? If I had to bet, I'd put all my money on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to be the largest company on the planet soon. They will surpass Microsoft and Apple because they have a virtual monopoly on the chips and the compute stack. And AI is only growing. French Toaster, glad to see you here. Dan says crypto banners coin is so bad. I don't even want to check it. Nani's TV. Thank you. Nothing against Cybertruck. We just don't want to lose money on depreciation. Here's the other thing too. There's someone around me that got a Cybertruck, and my kids, you know, at their school yesterday they saw it, and my oldest son said, "All my friends think the Cybertruck is ugly." It's like even the youth, okay, they're supposed to be unbiased. They just go by their pure emotion, right? And even all the kids, like I'm talking about the 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds, they're all making fun of the Cybertruck too. That's a really bad sign when even kids, they're not even reading about all the stuff I'm reading and they all think it's bad. You know, there's a lot of things against the Cybertruck right now. Geo says, I made 4K on it. On what? And congratulations. If the dollar index is 105 like it is now, inflation will continue to be hot. Why isn't the stable coins at 105? They're pegged to the dollar. It's not pegged to the dollar index. It's pegged to the dollar. So when you think about it, stable coins are actually going to devalue over time because they're pegged to the dollar. Will Kulo and Kot come back up? My magic 8-ball says yes. I like to think so. I hold both. Misery on Crow. 26 million. Memecoin on Crow. Is it? Oh, it's not misery. It's mystery. I thought it said misery on Crow. That would have been funny. The chart looks like it's topped out and coming down. That's what it looks like. Zorb Avenger says, I don't think it's meant to be pretty. This is the only unique thing about it, that it looks unique. But if it looks unique and it's ugly, that's not a good combination. Bento is a dog on base chain. Check it out. I'm not a big fan of base stuff. 2.4 million. Oh, geez, that's not good. That's a horrible down. With 1.22 million holders and it's at 2.4 million, that means every holder only holds $2 worth of this. That's no good, man. That's really no good. The last GME squeeze, BTC moved up sharply. It's probably because people didn't know what to put their money into, and then they all threw into Bitcoin afterwards, which I'm looking forward to if that happens again. Randy says, my grandson thinks the Cybertruck is awesome. How old is your grandson, though? Maybe if he's like 6, 5, maybe. You know, to be honest, though, I saw a Cybertruck parked in the parking lot. Me and my kids and my wife, we saw in the parking lot in Orlando, and it had a presence. Everyone wants to look at it. My kids thought, hey, it's cool, go get it. But now it's like the public perception is just like it's ugly, and you get your fingers chopped off, you get horrible range, it's horrible for off-roading. Just so many bad things, and it's going to depreciate. That's the biggest reason why you don't want to get it. The depreciation. GME on Solana is using Bonk FA rating bot. Can you check out the charts? about the trade rating bot? No, I don't need to. Why does a rating bot need to have a token? That's just silly. There's no need for that. Now, as for GME, still 121 million. AMC 21 million. AMC seems to can't hold as well as GME. I did pick up a little bit, so I'm still up on that. But GME, I'm just curious how far this could go. Thoughts on Elon on Uniswap? Avoid it. Have you heard of Steve's 5.3 theory? Yes, and other people have. I've read about what other people have said, and they said it's just baloney, and it doesn't even make sense. One of the cycles, the 5.3, didn't even work. It only worked for 2 to 3 cycles, but is it gonna work this cycle? I don't think so. What are your thoughts on base? I think it's just, I think base had its time to shine, and now that sunshine is going to come back to Sol. I think the only reason why they got big was because memes started getting popular, because Sol had this issue, slowness issue, for about a week or so, or 2 weeks, and that's when a lot of things blew up on base. But now I think it could be shifting backwards. But you know what, base, you know, they're supported by Coinbase, so it doesn't mean that they're going to lose all traction, but I think they're going to get a little bit weaker because Solana is now back in full force. But a lot of the memes on base can continue to do well. All right, guys. To conclude, Bitcoin adoption continues because we still have problems with inflation, with the economy, with possibly more bank failures. Okay, and that's why even pension funds are buying Bitcoin. So yes, adoption will continue. And we'll see what happens tomorrow with GME. It went up 60% today. The aftermarket, only 4.6%. Is this going to continue? 5 billion worth of shorts were liquidated today. Will that continue tomorrow? I guess we'll see. So tune in tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care.